You know what? Today, I canceled my Amazon Prime subscription. Today, I had stock in Amazon as well. I sold my shares today after I heard this news. I mean, what are we doing? Amazon, you supposed to be building boxing. You turned it right down again with these type of matchups. Like whoever's in charge over there, y'all don't know what y'all doing. Y'all don't understand this business at all because you put a fighter that hasn't been in the ring, hasn't fought at 154 pounds to begin with, first of all, hasn't been in the ring in over 2 years, and you put him in the ring.
Oh yeah, I said the hate is out of control. Tim Bradley says Amazon Prime and PBC, they don't know what they're doing, and he rips Tim Tszyu, Keith Thurman, Thurman versus Tszyu, the very first fight on Amazon Prime, the very first offering from PBC, and Bald Head Bradley got something to say. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, Tim Bradley was highly critical on a recent episode of top-ranked show, ESPN show, The State of Boxing. And the cat's out the bag. Tim Bradley is 1,000% hating. It's so funny. And the funny thing that I've noticed in boxing is PBC seems to get all of this insane, over-the-top type of hate. For example, boxing has been in a drought. You've had a couple fights here and there. A couple, right? A couple. But to be fair and to be perfectly honest, none of these fights are really making noise, right? You have Conor Benn, who's fighting this weekend. I don't even know if anyone's talking about it. I mean, you guys let me know in the comment section if you are looking forward to Conor Benn's fight this weekend. Some of you guys don't even know that Conor Benn's fight is taking place about 2:30 p.m. my time, Pacific Standard Time in California, to accommodate the UK. Horrible game plan. You have a UK fighter who failed a drug test. He can't fight in the UK, so they bring him to Las Vegas where he has no fan base, and then they're accommodating the UK by staging it at such an early time. How is that going to help Conor Benn make a splash in America by doing that? But back to Baldhead Bradley. I mean, it's clear he's hating. He has an agenda. I'm not going to beat around the bush. He was critical. He says there's no one on PBC, and I'm talking about a past interview. He said he doesn't respect anyone with PBC except for Deontay Wilder. The reason he cited, because Deontay Wilder fought Tyson Fury, an ESPN fighter. So PBC, Al Heyman got the biggest roster in all of boxing. And you had this man, Tim Baldhead Bradley, literally say he doesn't respect not a soul on a roster of over 150 people outside of Wilder because Wilder fought an ESPN guy at the time and currently Tyson Fury. That sounds very extreme and ridiculous. Now, Amazon Prime has announced their first show, their very first show, March 30th. It's a card that's pretty stacked. Like, put it this way, there's no other fighter in fight card from any other promoter that has been officially announced with more names on the bill that you know as a boxing fan over this card. So Anthony Joshua is fighting against, he's going to be fighting against Ngannou. That fight in Saudi Arabia, I think they're doing Zhang versus Joseph Parker. That's another good fight. I think that's on that card. But look at Tyson Fury versus Usyk. Who's on that card? It's not a stacked card. Meanwhile, Tim Tszyu, Keith Thurman, they're fighting each other, and they had their press conference. You got Pitbull Cruz challenging champion Rolly Romero in a sure shot action fight. There's no way that fight doesn't deliver action. And you have Sebastian Fundora, who also is on the card, and he's now fighting for a title because Jermell Charlo has been stripped. So I like that because, I mean, even though he's coming off of a loss, he was ranked within that sanctioning body. Jermell got stripped, and he's fighting Boachuk, and that's a good fight. And it just moves things around and keeps the division flowing, because since the Canelo loss at 168, we don't really know what Charlo's going to do, right? Is he coming back to 54? Is Charlo fighting at 60? I doubt he fights at 68, but we'll wait for Jermell to announce his next plan. So all in all, it's a good card, right? And it's the first option. It's like the first option that they're even giving us. And from owning my own business to working for other companies and corporations, you got to understand, why would PBC for their first show pull out all the punches with a brand new network and they haven't had a chance to work out the logistics? What do I mean? So let's say Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis were going to fight on Amazon Prime. If you you just brokered a brand new deal, why would that be the first fight, right? Because if you have audio issues like DAZN streaming app, or the picture goes out, that would be very embarrassing the bigger the fight. So I can understand, it's just like a restaurant having a soft opening before their grand opening. You know, you want to work out the kinks and potential issues. So I can understand a fight like this and a fight of this caliber and this particular card to usher in a new deal. A lot of people thought Gervonta Davis was going to be the first one, but again, Gervonta Davis is the top of the totem pole. So yeah, it makes more sense to put on a very good card, a very solid card from top to bottom, see how everything goes, also get a feel for your ratings and your buy rates and stuff like that, since it's a new deal and you got Tim Bradley hating every step of the way. And it's like, people in boxing, they make it far too obvious. The agenda is crazy. Again, Bradley's never saying anything good about PBC. He constantly bashes Tank. You know, he was bashing Errol Spence pretty much and saying that, you know, he didn't want to fight Terrence Crawford and all this type of stuff. He didn't respect anyone with PBC, and now he's back at it. Now, the other thing that was pretty interesting, you heard the clip, the State of Boxing clip at the beginning with Tim Bradley, and as he's saying it, you hear one of the other boxing reporters on the taping, and he starts laughing and snickering, and I thought that was, you know, kind of weird. So you have Tim Bradley, who's on this diabolical rant against PBC, and then the other dude is laughing as if he was cooking and saying something of any substance. So, you know, I gotta be real. Tim Bradley, the fighter, he was a good fighter. Tim Bradley, commentator, I can't be a fan. Like, he just says too much crazy stuff. And it is really concerning for ESPN. And it really makes me question ESPN when they're willing to get rid of Andre Ward as a commentator, but keep Tim Bradley and some of the other people that they did keep. So to me, it shows that they don't really know about boxing, and they don't really, you know, maybe it's this, I don't know the logistics of why they did it. Maybe Andre Ward commanded too much money or whatever, but he was far better as a commentator and really as a fighter, if we're really being real, than Tim Bradley. But somehow, some way, Tim Bradley stays on commentary. I don't know. I just find the ESPN commentary is very hard to watch. DAZN is probably the number one worst, in my opinion, for live commentary, followed by ESPN. Bradley's constantly saying random stuff, hating. You got Mark Kriegel, who's doing like poetry. Lomachenko held his breath for 8 minutes, but for undisputed, can he hold his breath? Like, what are you talking about? Nobody wants to hear these soliloquies and haikus and all that type of stuff. So anyway, I wanted to make this video. Bradley out here hating, talking about Keith Thurman shouldn't be in the fight. And listen, this is another reason, because really it's the hate that you heard from Bradley is like he read the comment sections from other haters, like on boxing Twitter, X, and on social media, and then he just decided to get the loudspeaker and mirror everything that those same haters of PBC, the usual suspects, are saying. And the irony is this: when a fighter is perceived, and I gotta say perceived to be ducking or cherry picking, people have a problem with it. Now Bradley is admonishing, roasting PBC, saying they don't know how to match because Keith Thurman is coming off a layoff and he's fighting a dog like Tim Tszyu. So which one is it? If they say, oh, Gervonta Davis is cherry picking, or whatever fight, Errol ducking Terrence Crawford, these are the narratives that are being spoken about PBC. So you hate cherry picking, then you can't call the Keith Thurman moving up in weight, fighting at a catch weight against a dangerous Tszyu who only looks to be getting better, right? You can't call that a cherry pick, and you still have Bradley complaining and old media complaining. So that just goes to show me this is hater talk. This is what haters do. They sit and converse about other people's stuff. Meanwhile, Teofimo is about to fight Jermaine Ortiz, and they're not even talking about that. They're not doing a good job of building that up. And that's a good fight. I want to see the fight. But you have all this energy to hate. So, you know, good luck to their show. I'm not a fan. It's just, it's nonsensical. Let me know if you watch The State of Boxing on the regular. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think of Tim Bradley already hating? This is literally the first PBC fight, and everybody has so many issues. It is so funny. It's so funny. But January, February didn't really have much of anything. You know, Jaime Munguia, I knew he was going to beat John Ryder. Easy fight. Golden Boy put Virgil Ortiz versus some guy with the brain aneurysm. But you don't hear Tim Bradley and the usual suspects complaining about any of that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section.